Hello and welcome to the Play versus Cup of 2023. We are in the championships. That's right. This is the high school national championships. We've got a long day ahead of us and we've got a ton of phenomenal action, but we're going to kick things off with Hearthstone to start the day. And if you're interested in Hearthstone, or if you are a high schooler dreaming of the ultimate Hearthstone deck, PlayVS has got you covered. When schools enroll in PlayVS Hearthstone leagues, they receive access to a Battle.net account preloaded with over 2,000 card packs. That's a lot of card packs. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Enrollment for the fall 2023 season is open right now. Join us and bring your Hearthstone skills to the next level. So, hey, if you're a high schooler looking for to get into some Hearthstone action, PlayVS is the place to be. I mean, 2,000 card packs is insane. You can
Yeah, I'm about to make an ult. I think I need more cards in my life. That's my problem right now. I need more.
absolutely. And of course, so like we said, Hearthstone today, I am Master Hamster. Joining me to call all the action is Shredder Shades, and I am really excited. Shredder, what are you feeling about today?
What am I feeling about? Well, obviously, since I'm clearly casting from the Shadow Realm here, I gotta be honest. I am a more Yu-Gi-Oh player than a Hearthstone player, so I will be making many comparisons to the fact that these kids are actually getting to play the game and that it's gonna be a good time. But more than that, I'm curious. Because we were looking over the characters or the heroes that these people play, and
Yeah.
there's some stuff. There's some stuff I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm curious because we don't have a deck list. I'm curious
Yep.
what they're gonna do and how they're gonna get there with a 30 cards to max. I'm interested to see what the percentages are that they're gonna draw what they need to actually win, or whatever their win condition actually is. I'm interested in finding that out.
That is a great that's a great kind of segue that we can pull here, where we can talk a little bit about the rule set here. If you're familiar with Hearthstone, you might be familiar with the Conquest format, where players bring 4 decks. One of those is banned out by their opponent, and then they have 3 decks to play with. This is kind of a similar format in this kind of situation, but it's in a high school format and it's team based. So we have 2 teams of 3, and each of the teams bring 3 decks, and each player is piloting one of those decks, but behind the scenes they're allowed to communicate, work together, and kind of problem solve while one person is piloting this deck. So they get to work as a full cohesive unit while one person is piloting each deck. When they win with a deck, they can't play it again for the rest of the series, and of course it's first to 3 wins or a best of 5 series.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want the priest giving the Death Knight all the tips. So it's like, yeah, man, just heal him. It's cool. Hit him with the overheal. What do you mean you don't have that? What? What are you playing? Death Knight corpses. What? Ugh.
Yeah, we might see something like this. I do want to say, because we're in the championships, these teams have been fighting tooth and nail to get here. They are champions in their own state, in their own region, and now they're looking to be champions of the US essentially. So
Trying to beat the world.
trying to beat the world. I mean,
we're all trying to go to worlds out here. I get it.
exactly. So a lot of great things out of these players. Very experienced from a lot of these players. Even some of these players are very decorated in their own regard, and that kind of is a little bit of a segue to talk about these 2 teams and talk about what we're going to be seeing today. So, of course, on one side of the field, we've got Marauders High School versus Westside High School. And yeah, look at that. We got a beautiful graphics. We can talk a little bit about their records. Both of them 7-1 in the regular season. And oh my gosh, playoffs 3-0, 5-0. Lots of great things that we're seeing here.
That's interesting. Okay. 3-0, 5-0, and then the amount of purely the amount of games played is actually a lot higher than you would think for most games. 28 in total from Nebraska. 23-5? That's really good. It makes me curious how they're going to build around all the other stuff that they've had to play with against in the past, you know? Like, that amount of experience at a high level is kind of nuts. Because even at certain thing, well, because it's all mostly invitational, right? Like there's no open bracket, so these aren't just people walking in off the street. These are all people who actually got invited to come out to play and compete. They're all gonna do it. They're all gonna put the time and the effort in. So now I'm just curious how they're gonna build around that. The mind games, what they're thinking of. What are they gonna do that they've seen in the past that they're gonna do against me because I'm playing this? I don't know. The mind game is always the thing I'm super interested in seeing from a lot of higher level play, especially with card games, because there's so many things to put in the deck to actually make it work or to try to counter something the other person's trying to do.
Absolutely. And kind of going off of that, we obviously card games, there's a lot of mind games. There's a lot of trying to read what your opponent is going to do, predict what kind of decks they're bringing, what their next play is going to be. But on the flip side of that as well, a lot of these players actually come from Smash in the same regard. So they are both
Mhm.
Smash players as well as card game players. So they have a lot of things that they're working with and are familiar with having those reads.
I don't know. That's kind of interesting going from, just to, slap the controller to I will gingerly place all of my very precious cards out on the table. A little different. I'm curious.
I don't
You
know.
know.
Some of these cards you want to slam down, and
Nah.
they hit the board hard.
I don't know, man. But my rares. I gotta put my rares down soft. I can't be throwing them on the board. It hurt my resale value. What are you talking about? Throwing stuff down on the ground like that.
Obviously, as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, when you're playing in person, yes, you want to be gingerly put down your cards. But here in Hearthstone,
Correct.
you can slam those cards down, and they hit the
Ugh,
board
oh, my heart.
hard.
Ooh, I don't know. Ooh,
It
I don't know
hurts your
about
heart a
that.
little bit.
But
But
my ghost rares.
while we're talking about these players, I think there is something that I do want to mention here. We talked about some of these players are decorated, they have a lot of experience. On the side of Nebraska, West Side High School, while we're looking at here, kind of the leader, James, we'll see him as James is Shadow, a 12th grader, a senior looking to go to the University of Nebraska, but also, in addition, the fall 2022 Play versus Champion, the 2021 HSEL Fall Major Champion, as well
Gosh.
as the 2021 Nebraska State Champion for Hearthstone. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, so that's interesting considering like their record was like a little bit less games. You'd think that he'd be like, "No, I need to play everybody. I'm fiending." That's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
it might just be that area, but I mean, with less games, but still that amount of accolades, that's kind of nuts.
absolutely. And I think on the other side of things, right, on West Side, they have a player like James that is very, very decorated, but they have a newer player as well in the form of Jack, aka Goose, who is an 11th grader, and this is their first time playing Hearthstone.
Wow. First
First
year and he's
time.
already doing this.
Yeah, first time and looking incredible.
That's pretty good. I mean, first year already getting into it, but more than anything, I mean, he's getting into it. But are you ready to get into the action? Because enrollment for the 2023 fall season is now open, and you can discover all the opportunities that PlayVS has to offer and get all the details on all the upcoming fall seasons at playversus.com. Don't just sit there and watch. Play. Play your games. Play Hearthstone. It's a good time. It's good fun.
Play Hearthstone. I mean, signing up for Play versus getting those 2,000 packs. Oh my gosh.
2,000!
It's so many. Yeah. You get so much. And even if you don't draw the cards, you can just get rid of them, trash them, get the essence you need, and make your own cards essentially. So
And more than anything, it's like 2,000. Even if it's just the base card packs that you get from it, there's a lot of strong stuff in there. Like none of that stuff goes out of standard. It all stays in. There's no reason not to have it. And even if it's some of like the older packs, there's still value there. There's always going to be value. You're always going to get a lot of good stuff in 2,000. It's just not going to be there.
absolutely. All right, as we're getting closer to the action, I do want to talk a little bit about the decks that we could potentially be seeing here
Mm.
and kind of who might be piloting these. So
Oh, okay.
on the side of West Side, right? We've got their lineup. They've got a Demon Hunter deck, they've got a Priest deck, and a Death Knight deck. I'm assuming the Priest deck is going to be a Shadow Priest of some kind.
Nah,
Um,
Overheal.
we
Overheal. We
my
play that. We play that.
that maybe. And then on the other side of Maclay High School, aka the Marauders High School, we have a Priest deck, a Death Knight, and a Paladin. So we're seeing kind of that matchup with Priest and Death Knight for both of these teams. The only difference is Westside is running Demon Hunter, and Marauders is running Paladin.
I kind of want to see the mirror matches, honestly. I kind of want to see how, because if they play the same decks, then it just comes down to what you draw when you draw it. And okay, is that a mirror match? Oh, I think it is.
I think it is indeed. Yes, it is indeed a mirror match, and it looks like we're kicking things off with the Death Knights. I think both of these teams feeling very confident in their Death Knights and
get them out of the way.
Yeah, get them out of the way. Run
get
them
out of the way. Yep.
Ooh.
Play the real stuff after. Both Overheal Priests. I got you.
Oh no, that's a very unfortunate mulligan there. The mana curve is just not in their favor right now.
Yeah, he's going to be sitting there for a little bit. And they're like, let's see, spin up to 5. And yeah, he kind of needs to build corpses to really get those characters going. And the other side already had a weapon just going in. And he still got the coin. Yeah, he still got the coin. That's solid. It's actually kind of funny that someone's favorite card listed here, it was the coin. and like that's something you kind of want to hold on to for just a little while. I'm surprised he didn't attack though. I wonder what his thought process was there.
Sometimes in Hearthstone, it's very good to just be a little reactionary. As we're seeing here, Froststrike coming out, just going to get rid of that minion and allow some more board control. Won't swing for face. Will just, again, going to clear the board. Will do a little bit of damage. So both of these teams relatively even right now. The drop on the side of Marauders has been extremely lucky.
I will say the thing, though, that does make me a little nervous about him doing board clearing was just he gave him 3 corpses almost right away. Like, taking care of the minions there, that's good for you. You can't get hit from it, but you gave him supplies. That might kind of fuels off that stuff. That's always good for him. Just to get rid of that stuff.
Yes.
I mean, at least we know when we. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please keep going.
I was just gonna say, like, at least on this side, we know that with 2 6 mana cost there, we're already at 4. Like he's kind of stacked for it.
Yeah, they are indeed set up for everything that they need to do here. I thought Marauders had a bad hand, but the draw has just been so much in their favor that they've been able to follow this mana curve, which has been very, very lucky. Again, some hard choices to make here, especially when going against just a Death Knight as well. They're basically running the same deck, so
running some Murloc stuff. Not Murloc. What is it? Nogglings.
Nogglings, yes.
Okay, adding some cards to hand. Actually, the thing I just thought about, he has the same 6-cost card in his hand, which means that's not in his deck anymore. So he's cleared out those 2 cards, that percent chance to even draw that again when he doesn't need it, because he already got both. So now we're just getting all of the rest of his deck. And I think the other side has the same deal. I see 2 6-costs up there. It's like, they may have both already drew 2 things, maybe not necessary, but that'll help them a lot with just throwing things on the board. Ooh, a little bit of thinking going on here.
And I think this is good, especially when you're playing with a team, when you have 2 other people by your side or in your comms to just say, hey, let's take a second. We've got time to make these decisions. We have a lot of cards in hand. There's
Not
some
more.
big...
I need more.
More cards in hand.
I need that battle cry death rattle immediately.
But yeah, there's these chances for them to slow the game down a little bit, especially as we see here, some very big cards on deck for the side of Marauders that is just making it difficult for Westside to really sit down and do exactly what they want.
He doesn't have a whole lot of time left. Seems to be doing a lot of freezing. Oh, okay, freeze them so we can't do anything with its power just yet. But I don't know. I don't.
Ooh.
I feel like that. I feel like that was just to kind of even up the health. I don't think that was even for to freeze the him attacking.
I agree. I think it's
Like,
just do a little face damage. And, oh, all right, gonna immediately destroy the egg and get some rush minions as well, allowing them to have a little bit of speed. Not gonna swing with the rush minion, though. We'll just leave it on the board. And the
I think
board
rush
state...
can only hit minions. I think it's charge.
Oh,
Charge hits
you're,
face.
you're right. Yep. You come from a Yu-Gi-Oh background. I come from
Hey man, I gotta read a lot. All right, like, I better start reading here too.
a Magic the Gathering background where I'm like, oh, Rush is haste. They can just attack
Okay,
immediately.
buddy.
But you're right. Rush is just for minions, and it's charge that will allow you to hit face.
Ooh, okay, these are some pretty good picks. Is he going for the refresh? I don't know. I feel like he needs to get more out on the board to deal with all the stuff that's happening because he's getting behind on. Sorry, they are getting behind on both corpse count and just board aggression. I just feel like there's not a whole lot going on here to like force an option from adventurer here. It just I just don't see it.
Yeah, and so interestingly enough, does cast the Noggling to asphyxiate that higher cost minion, so clearing up and evening up the board a little bit. And again, Noggling in the side of Marauders as well. We might just see the exact same play that we just witnessed.
I don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe you throw something out, get rid of it. Oh, you pull the hero power, get rid of it, pull the draw card. There's something here.
Yeah, there are pieces moving right now.
Yeah, there it is. And then you get the draw. And then after you summon, wow, that's really strong too. Yeah, every option has been going well over here for Adventurer. I don't know, West Side is struggling a little bit, but now they've got slightly more corpses, so they can do a little bit more, but they're still really behind on corpse count to actually get any of those high costs to proc their abilities. Because a lot of them, from my understanding, a lot of Death Knights have a lot of cards that say if you above a certain count, you just get more things off it. Oh wait. Ooh.
The issue is here is both these players, both these teams are playing that Frost aggro deck. So yes, you are stacking up bodies, but really they want to get aggro and they want to have this consistent board state. And unfortunately, Westside hasn't been able to have that so far. As I say that,
you need to stop saying stuff like that.
I know, apparently.
Like, as you were talking, it's like, okay, he just did 2 to everything. Okay, he just did another 2 to everything. He burned the coin though and the refresh. But that means he has another refresh somewhere if he hasn't used it, if there wasn't a use beforehand. So there's at least another one there that just says you get 2 more. Wow, really? Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, big plays.
They're
just getting in their head. That actually didn't mean anything. It's like, my hand's terrible. I'm just gonna get in their head though.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. They don't have enough to just finish right now. It really was just a mind game.
If something swung for 13 when you place it, I would think I'd leave. That would just hurt my heart. Okay, get rid of it to get the 5-2. Oh my gosh.
Again, great choices that they're picking up here. Using that rush and using the artifact the relic, very well in order to just, again, get back into maintaining that board control.
Okay.
The freeze comes through, though.
Freeze and just pause, like, you just stop. I just need you to chill for a second. And
oh, no.
And then you get the weapon, though. It's 4-2. That's pretty good. That's just solid face damage. Refresh. He used the other refresh. So there it is. That's no more. Oh, with 2 taunts. So they are really trying to stall the board now. I feel like.
And that's what Westside needs, right? They needed Tomb Guardians to come out. They needed the freeze to come out as well, just to slow the game down and get the taunts on board and make it difficult for Marauders and Adventurer to just run away with this game. They on the side of Westside, they know that Marauders have that board control and they need to get rid of it. They need to slow it down and put down some of these heavier, bigger cards, as we see.
Here we go.
It's throwing out something big here. Oh my gosh.
Yep. That's what the corpses are for. And there's still another one. And that's spent was it 5 to get 2 random on every single one. Yeah, I don't know if Westside has. I don't think Westside has the stock to do that right now. I still think you kind of go for it because everything is almost at 2. So if you get, kind of a lucky hit, you get rid of 3 minions, which still fuels their corpses, but at the same time, next turn is over if they don't do something right now. Because a 5-3-1-6 at 7 health, that's not a. I don't know, math. That's a lot of math. I think it's lose though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really think Westside has the answer right now, unfortunately, which means that they're gonna give it their all right now. We might see some incredible combos coming out in the end here, but Marauders might take this first. Ooh.
Okay. At a 7, 6-5 in the swing. Okay. Oh, and they froze. They froze everything. So now, next turn, I think. Oh, this could have been the turnaround. Unless they got something real. Deal through damage. Discover. They're discovering. But what are they going to pick here? Because you got 7 with a 5 and a 3. Battle Cry.
It's not what they're looking for.
Yeah, I don't think so. Here's what they're going to do here. I'm not sure what they're going to pick to actually go with.
Yeah, they are going to.
This is a bad situation. Like, that was a turnaround real fast.
Yeah, I mean, Marauders had the advantage there. They had the board state. I mean, they still technically have the board state, but the freeze is just insane. Do they have enough?
No. Oh, they should have. If they had done that to get the corpse first, would that have been the extra 2 needed? Yeah, that's it.
Oh my goodness.
See, this is why math is not my strong suit, because like I just said they lost and they won.
Wow, the turnaround from Westside, who were basically behind the entirety of that the entirety of that game, able to come back with some very clutch freezes, like you said, just saying, hey, chill out, give us some time to think, let's throw down some taunts, and then able to pull out their big creatures and deal a ton of damage.
They really turned it around, and maybe I wasn't able to see everything that happened, but they got a 7 cost out at like 6 mana left, and I was like, oh, they must have done some crazy corp stuff. I mean, overall though, I'm looking forward to the next one, and just, okay, because I'm thinking Demon Hunter, Priest, they got options. There's options here on the other side. They could do. No, the other side is Paladin and Priest, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, sorry, I'm thinking they're very similar. They're very similar teams a little bit.
Going with that holy combination. So great stuff that we've seen out of both of them. Obviously, a very close game one, and if this is any sort of representation of what we're going to see coming up here, this is definitely going to go to that best of 5. It's definitely going to go to game 5, going to go all the way. I mean, right, Westside just winning with 1 health remaining. So
real. Very clutch. Not a thing you see often in a lot of card games, that's for sure. It's usually pretty sweepy, but I like that. It was close for a Death Knight mirror, which I'm happy. Which showed they really did play a lot of similar stuff, which is making me think both priests are going to play about the same thing. And I mean, after all this, you got to really be asking yourself, how do you select your esports provider? How do you pick out of all the options with such incredible competition that you're getting here? How do you pick?
When I went to go get my program started, I did a lot of research on what companies people were using at the high school level with regards to playing esports. I found a few of them, but I found that PlayVS not only had some of the best reviews, but just had high praise from people in this sphere of high school esports. So naturally, while there are other people in the state, I chose to keep going with PlayVS. So we chose to exclusively work with PlayVS because they offer a large variety of games, and they offer a large variety of games that our students get behind. Constantly, every season, they're trying to either innovate, bring more games in, be more communicative. They're a small company, but they try really hard, and I obviously really appreciate that. I think PlayVS' catalog is what sets them apart from everybody else. Everybody else can offer small things or even tournaments related to the game and title that they want to play with. And so I think that the idea that I can build an entire season around a specific title is really enticing.
And we are back. Oh man,
That's how you pick. That's how you pick an esports provider right there. You got everything you need there. You got the competition, you got the people, the infrastructure is all there. That's how you pick right there.
That is how you pick. And something I do want to talk about, especially as we were doing a little bit of that post-game analysis, something that we didn't mention while the game was going on that I feel like is important to mention here, is that first win
That's
for
big.
Westside was from Jack, the player we were talking about before, the 11th grader, who this is their first year playing Hearthstone.
Oh, okay.
So they sent out the newbie first and
Testing the waters.
And they got results.
I am curious though, even though it is his first year, he's got two pretty big veterans behind him giving him all the tips like, yeah, do this. I'm curious what level of like, I don't want to say independence, but the level of choice there that was his, as well as how his teammates were also helping him out.
Absolutely. So we're getting back into game 2. Remember, because Westside won that first game, they will not be allowed to play their Death Knight again. Marauders, on the other hand, feeling confident in the run back, they're just going to choose Death Knight.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it didn't feel like it went so poorly to not pick it. That's what this feels like.
Absolutely. I agree, right? They almost won. They had the board state for the entirety of the game. The mana curve, again, I feel like Marauders have not been having a good mana curve regardless of what they do. Where
I
before,
don't know. I always like getting a handful of low cost. It means I get to do something every turn. I get to play the game. Sure, I'm gonna win, but you know, that just means I get to draw my stuff.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you do get to draw your stuff, and while there isn't really a curve here, it does mean that they can play the aggro portion of their deck by just having a ton of really small drop creatures that have death rattle, so you're constantly keeping your hand topped up every time these small creatures die, or they have a death rattle that is basically summoning another creature.
Yeah, you keep your deck, you keep your hand growing, but at the same time, you're not leaving your board completely vacant. You're always going to have something on there that makes them, hopefully, your opponent worry just a little bit about what you've got planned or what's even in your hand. But
of course,
Demon Hunter out here throwing all the outcasts though, real quick. They got the I would say that, but they're I think they played that 1/1 without the outcast proccing because I feel like they should have more cards in hand.
I agree.
It seems really low.
Yeah, it seemed like they just wanted to get out cards to kind of contest this board space, but not really able to effectively use their board.
Just ignore me. Whatever.
We are going to see some outcasts coming out here. So again, some draw happening. We get some rush as well. This is already looking like the game is in favor of this Demon Hunter right now, but can't count anyone out just yet.
I can't be doing math out here because it doesn't matter. When last game ends 1-1, it's like, why am I even trying to count? Just like, I got to see what the hands are gonna be, what they're gonna get. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. You just get the zombie out and you just that thing's gonna go away anyway, so might as well just use it to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot of so much hand. I'm curious if they're gonna deck themselves out at this point. They've done an outcast draw. They did play, get 2 outcasts from deck, draw 2 rush.
Oh, Frost Strike, a great draw here, basically answering all of the issues that Marauders had. And of course, they get to pick out what they want. Oh, the Frost Queen too available. Not going to pick it up, but it is interesting that it is available to them if they wanted to look for a little bit later in the game.
I bet we were sitting there because someone on their team was going, "Don't pick that. I know you want to pick that. Don't pick that. Don't pick that. That's a 7. You're at 4. Just take the one that gives you cards."
Exactly.
Well, I want big thing. I want to play big monster. Sorry,
I mean,
that's the Yu-Gi-Oh in me coming out. My bad.
absolutely. And Yu-Gi-Oh, you can do that, but sometimes in
Yeah.
games like Hearthstone, you gotta wait, and the wait is not really worth it, especially when you're playing against a Demon Hunter Outcast deck like this that has been playing so fast, already hitting 5 to the face just with the equipment.
Yeah, I'm curious. The amount of weapon. Well, we've only seen the one weapon so far, but I'm curious if they're doing anything that would just like that's gonna add, keep the weapon there, give it a little bit more. Because I know that in warrior decks you do that sometimes. You have a weapon equipped all the time, and you have something that makes sure you have it there still. So I'm curious if maybe there's some build into that, but I don't really know much about Outcast other than I haven't seen a lot of Outcast cards. I didn't get the 2000. All right, I'm just out here playing core.
You're playing your overhealed priest.
Whatever. Listen, man, it works. It does all right sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes I get to play the game. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Yeah, maybe I healed myself that one time and not the minion. Who cares? What's the point?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry
If
about
I
it.
lose, the minions lose.
You know what? You make a strong point. I can't even argue with you. We are going to see a little bit of a slowdown here on the side of West Side as they are trying to figure out how to contest the board space that Marauders have taken.
This is getting a little busy. I mean, getting rid of that's good, but at the same time, taking the 4 damage. Oh, excuse me.
Ooh.
Taking the 4 damage to almost even up the health, while there still is a 4/5 out. But hey, your 3/6 has Death Rattle that brings something out. Though it's a low cost. It's like a 1/1, I believe, from that Death Rattle.
Mm-hmm.
Though to be fair, if you only get rid of the 1, there's still the other one, so you're always gonna have something out on the board. Ooh. Okay, that weapon seems pretty strong just to do that. 18, 19. Wow, this is still really close.
Yeah, I mean,
everything seems to be going all right.
it's good to get rid of some of these bigger creatures, but you're still taking damage. Marauders are still whittling themselves down in this battle. Of course, it is all in the name of getting rid of board space, but look at this. We're just going to see this Outcast Demon Hunter pull out more and more cards.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay, that thing looks cool. I want that card.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, anytime.
The climb. It's the climb.
This might be it. This might be no. It's not going to be a
No, I think you spend the
close.
3/1. I think you spend the 3/1 to get rid of that thing. Even if it has Death Rattle, like it's still there's probably value in not having anything on the board on their side, and hitting for big damage.
It does have Reborn and a Death Rattle, so something that they're probably going to want to avoid. But again, a tough decision here because you're absolutely right. Making space is what you need to do. Might just trade it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, that was with okay. And then you get rid of that.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean, I see value. I see the value there.
Mm-hmm,
You get rid of both of those random 2 damage. Plus, you still get a 6/4 on the screen. Like that's heavy. Oh, here comes the dragon. Okay. Okay, 5/5. Even if you trade a little bit, that's still fine. That's not too bad. Because you can still kind of keep up. Though with that, oh, the weapon's gone. So now you can keep up even better. Though being frozen this turn does make it so you can't really do a whole lot.
We are seeing a rush. We'll be able to take down that dragon.
Oh, nice. Oh, draw. Here we go. And you got 4 left. Oh, the Outcast is coming. You gonna draw again? I bet you're gonna draw again. Yeah, I'm drawing again.
What? Who could have guessed?
When you got 2 zeros, and they still have more Outcasts they can throw out there. And with the 0, I'm curious. I don't know what that is though, off the top of my head. I can't really see.
You have to be very careful here.
Again, they were about to attack themselves.
Any misplay here can be so detrimental, even if it's just a tiny misplay here. Both of these teams really utilizing almost the entirety of their turns to try to figure out what they want to do. The Frost Strike coming in.
Ooh.
We're going to see another freeze come out as well. It's got to be a little bit frustrating just getting hit with these Frost Wyron's Fury just over and over again.
I'm getting Yu-Gi-Oh PTSD over here. Oh my gosh. What do you mean I don't get to play? I just want to put my cards down. I don't get to attack. I don't get to do nothing.
With this freeze, this might actually be game next turn, unless we can see something crazy out of this Outcast deck here.
Oh, well, there is still some Outcast there, but you still gotta like, you gotta whittle your own hand just to get the Outcast on either side.
I mean, it's better whittling your own hand than losing next turn. So
No, you're not. Yeah.
you really gotta pull out all the stops here.
Yeah, and I feel like there wasn't a want to spend that on anything that wasn't an Outcast, because now they're just playing minions with Rush to hope to. I need to get their health down. I need to hit their big stuff, in a hope to get rid of it so I don't lose next turn.
Yeah, and the other thing is, unfortunately, with the freeze here, you're running into the issue that you're running out of board space to play new creatures, to play more Outcast creatures. We're gonna see a bit of face damage.
Wow. Okay. Oh. Okay. That was so fast.
The Life Beam coming out will heal and deal damage, and now the board space is completely in favor of Westside. I think they've done it. They have turned the tides, and I mean we're seeing Marauder's hand right now. There's not much left.
That was the most amount of plays you could do in the last 5 seconds of your timer. Almost every card was coming out.
Almost every card, yeah. Marauders, they're out of cards. They thought that was going to be the play, and it almost was, but it's just...
Wait a second. We've seen this. We've seen that thing. We're rolling the dice. Oh, that's a shame. I mean, it wouldn't have won, but it would have made him worry a little bit. It would have been like, oh, get the 2. Now
Nope.
2 into minion. You get rid of the chicken, but I mean, that's not really going to do a whole lot.
Nope, and that will be game 2 going in favor of Westside once more. They're going to throw the glaive down to get the face damage.
You didn't even got to do them like that. I don't
I mean, yeah, the board space completely in favor. This time, I think we saw a lot more of a back and forth than what we saw in game 1.
Really?
But at the end of the day, I think that the utility, unfortunately, from the Death Knight just wasn't available to Marauders, wasn't available to McClay, unfortunately, and Westside just had so much more utility that they were able to utilize in the form of Outcasts, constantly refilling and refreshing their hand, that they could just run away with the game.
I'm curious if they go for Death Knight again. I think that seemed very experienced against the Death Knight. That's like, I know what you want out. I know what to get rid of. I can kind of tell you're not drawing what you need, so I'm just going to throw stuff on the field, make it so you have as hard a time as possible to even get anything going.
I think the question is, how confident do you feel in this Death Knight versus what is presumably going to be a Shadow Priest? I don't think it's going to be an overheal priest.
Overheal. Sorry, to throw you off with the overheal. No, you're probably right, but like
you got me thinking. Like, what if it is they brought an overheal priest? That
who would think?
Who would think? That is the real question. No, but yeah, the question is, do you feel confident in this Death Knight still if you're Marauders, or do you maybe pass the baton over to someone different? You still have a Paladin and a Priest in the wings. Obviously, Rain, who's been piloting this Death Knight, they have been, working tirelessly game in, game out. And sometimes maybe that mental is a little down right now. So
honestly,
passing the baton might be the move.
It kind of makes me think of, so in fight, I'm a big fighting game fan. But so there's a thing in fighting games where in a 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5 set, you generally, if you lose the first 2, you kind of want to just go back to character select screen and you just sit there. There's a little bit of a timer, but you can sit there and just go, what am I doing wrong? Am I overthinking it? Well, to be fair, it's not 1-to-1 because fighting games are, one person and one person. This is a team. There's 2 other people on your back going, chill. That's cool. Tag out. Let me in. Give it a second. You're hot. You lost a really close match. You're probably thinking, I got this. I only lost by 1. I could do it. I could beat a demon hunter or a priest. I got this. But generally, you don't want to go in hot because when you're playing by what you draw from your deck, that's only going to make you either more frustrated because you're not getting what you want and you want to win because you just lost, or you go, man, I don't even care anymore. Whatever, I'm not getting what I need to win. Why even? Which is kind of a little bit more self-destructive, but I think at this point you pass it off. You either go for, they have to play priest because they won the other two. So either you go, does a priest mirror match seem better than the paladin priest matchup? Like where does that go wrong? What's the best thing for me here or for our team? Who do I tag in?
That's a great point, honestly. And I think bringing it back to the fact that this isn't a one person, this isn't a solo adventure, this isn't a solo competition. This is a team endeavor. And so these teams can take this time in between these matches. They have a little bit of time allocated to just sit down, decompress, talk about strategy, talk about what went wrong and how can we fix it. And now there's not even that guessing game of, oh, what kind of deck are they going to bring out? You know exactly what they're going to pull out.
Yeah, it's like, and you can run it back like 100%. You beat the priest.
Yeah.
You only have what's on the other side? It's priest and
paladin.
You're right. So if they win with the priest and they have to finish with the paladin, the other side goes, okay, I have to play. It's really what matchup do you want? If you're confident you're going to win the mirror match, do you want the last game to be priest paladin, or do you risk the paladin win and go in confident in the priest mirror match? Because now we're playing against like, what do I think their deck's going to be? Do I like playing Shadow Priest and Shadow Priest? Is that something that's even going to work out well, or do I get in my own head, or do I know their deck because it's the same deck? There's something here. There's a little bit of 100% going to go with. Oh wait, but Paladin Priest.
We're seeing the Paladin come out, and it is actually not the Shadow Priest. We will be seeing
Overheal. Not Shadow Priest, must be Overheal. Right? Oh. Wait.
Okay, yeah, it is Shadow Priest.
Oh,
I spoke too soon. Yeah, it is Shadow Priest.
What are we doing here? Wow, just stealing cards?
Are you been playing the more competitively viable?
Listen, just because you got to work a little harder doesn't make it not competitively viable. It just means you have to work way harder for no reason. All right?
You're right. A lot of these players coming from a Smash background, they probably understand that as well. Low tier warriors rise up.
They don't. Get it. No, they don't. They're Smash players. They play DLC. There is no. The low tier warrior is a little. Not nearly as often as you would think or hope. But going straight for the weapon. That doesn't seem like, that seems like a good call. You get the weapon out, and then what does it do? What does it say? Give a 1/1 to a random minion?
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense, because you throw that on yourself, then you throw out a minion, and then you swing immediately. You give him the 1/1. That seems like a pretty decent trade. I think you lose the health for that.
Yeah, so probably what we're going to see on this Paladin deck is we're going to see a lot of equips, because we've already seen 2 equipment being drawn early, and we're going to probably see a lot of divine shields as well.
Yeah.
Going to take out the Banshee early, which I think is a good call, because that Banshee will just be problematic the longer it stays on the field.
Oh, really? What does Banshee do?
It'll buff your minions, so getting rid of it is definitely something you want to do early on.
Oh no, Shadowed Spirit. That's not Overheal. That's all I have.
The Overheal's all I have.
It's all I know. It's all I've had. Oh, okay. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for the second. Oh, you know what? They probably don't want to show that they have the Disco Maul in hand again.
Mm-hmm.
That they because the other side's thinking, where is that 1 of 2 in deck? But they have both in hand, so they probably don't want to throw it out just yet. And then, end of turn. Yeah, that enables them to get those really low costs from the end of turn ability. That's pretty good, because it forces them to play that. Oh, you're gonna trade? You gonna trade the taunt? I don't know, trading the taunt. Taunt's what's doing it for you kind of right now. Yeah, there you go. See, let them think.
And this is really where that team mentality comes in, where maybe something that you would have done instinctually early on isn't actually the best play in your best interest. And this is a massive play, giving Divine Shield. You have 2 Divine Shield, 2 taunts, just making it so difficult for Westside to really get anything started when it's coming towards your face.
But the thing, I'm sure this is in the plan and the damage is worth it. But man, you hurt yourself a lot to get that. Though to be fair, you almost even it up in one swing. So I guess it's fair. It just, wow, it took a lot of damage to get there.
I think as long as you can keep the pathway open for your 7-8 to just keep swinging,
yeah,
they're fine with taking a little bit of self-damage here. The problem is, right, is anything can change, especially when you have a Shadow Priest who can just deal that damage from hand to get rid of those Divine Shields.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Shadow Priest is more like hand trappy. It's more like I have this in hand and I just get to swing. Sorry, not hand traps. Sorry. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but more of spells.
Okay, spells.
And able to do a little bit of damage. Yeah.
Okay, I get that. But they have a lot. They still haven't really done anything yet. They still got the 5/5. They're really like, do I just keep drawing? Do I just keep summoning death rattles? And then into the and the 5/5. Ooh, that's since last. That's huge.
That is a massive.
That's actually huge. Ooh, I don't like that. Ooh.
That's so good. It's not. I mean, it is not out of Marauder's hands though. That was a great play from Westside, but they still have Divine Shields. They still have the taunt up, and they have some removal in hand that they're looking to use.
That card, so, is it called Class Action Lawyer? Oh, the 1/1. Oh, I mean, to be fair, the value of that card feels more like you get all your friendly units out that have passed, as opposed to doing the 5. The 5 is a bonus, but the benefit is definitely that you just got out a 4 and a 3 and a 3 with one play. That feels like the bigger advantage here. Yeah, the trade, you still got Divine Shield. I don't know. I feel like you just take the damage. Yeah, there you go. Just hit them. Hit them. Force them to hurt themselves. You don't want to get rid of that Divine Shield. What if you want to force those spells from Shadow Priest to get rid of it, as opposed to you getting rid of it yourself?
I completely agree. It is tempting though, because you want to maintain board control here, but the problem is when you trade those Divine Shields, there's not much you have left here, especially as your only taunt mechanic is just a 1/1, and we are going to see. Yep, we're going to see some of this hand damage here coming through. That will also bleed over onto face value.
Yeah, no taunts anymore. So that's 7 away from losing. Wow. Still really close. And then from looking at the Paladin's hand, it's like
there's not much.
Yeah. And I don't think that funky Murloc's really going to be doing it for you. I don't think he has the effect to do a whole lot. Because now you're just trying to rush face damage on the other side. Oh, that's big.
Oh no, that is very big. Oh, that is very good. Westside got real lucky with that. Marauders at a disadvantage here. They're gonna do their best, but their resources are dwindling down. And as we're taking a look at their hand,
they drew a 7.
There's not much they can do right now.
So 4, 7, 10, 12, 11. I mean. But that at 7 mana next turn for Shadow Priest, they're definitely going to have something that's just going to deal damage to the face. Yeah, this is a conundrum for sure.
I think Marauders, definitely going to need to take a second to think about this.
Take it, get the 10/11.
You're going to have to trade it with the taunt, unfortunately.
Yeah, no matter what. Unless there's something here that's just, I mean, I don't think there's any point. They know you have those in hand. They've seen it happen proc from end of turn abilities. I don't think there's any value in holding on to those 3/1s and making it look like you have something. Either that or they forgot that it's like, man, I wonder what all those cards in his hand are.
Nah, yeah, I agree. Especially at this level, right? We're Nationals Championship.
Yeah.
Westside is on the brink of winning here. They're at the precipice here. They're not going to make a mistake like that, especially you have 3 people on your team who are just constantly keeping track of that thing.
Oh, it's on Dead Deal 5. Yep, there it is.
Massive. And that will be Westside winning handily over Marauders High School 3-0.
It was all close. It was all close
was.
too. I don't want to say that I think the Death Knight run back was the downfall. Because
No.
I don't think it was. I just think it was that Demon Hunter just was able to rush, outcast, get what they needed to just take it.
I think both of these teams played very well. I think it really may have all come down to that game 1 where it was so close.
Yeah, that definitely puts you in a headspace.
Yeah, and if we had seen maybe Marauders High School just take that first, been able to finish off that series, we may have seen a very different championship series, but unfortunately not quite able to finish it up.
You know what it might have been? Maybe they thought the priest was gonna be the second as opposed to the Demon Hunter. Because maybe that's why they did the Death Knight. Because like from what I saw of the Shadow Priest, it had a lot of board clear. So maybe they were hoping to play Death Knight, get a bunch of corpses, and maybe try to because all those Shadow Priest minions seem to be low health. So maybe if you play that big 6 and you get the 2 random damage, they don't seem to have a lot to do there to keep the board filled with minions and keep buffing themselves and force them to rely on hand damage. Though maybe the Demon Hunter was like, oh no, they play Demon Hunter.
No, I completely agree. I think maybe it came down to maybe a prediction where they thought the Shadow Priest would come out. I think the Death Knight into that Shadow Priest has some merits to it, especially because Shadow Priest takes a little bit to really start going. And if you play your aggro, your Death Knight effectively, you can really shut down a lot of what that Shadow Priest wants to do. Unfortunately, they went against the Demon Hunter Outcast deck.
Yeah.
And it was just the utility, the speed. The Death Knight just couldn't quite keep up with it, unfortunately. And I think part of that, again, we saw Marauders have some pretty unlucky first draws in game 1 and 2, where they weren't finding the curve that they were looking for in order to keep up the tempo of the game, where they were just able to throw down minions, but they were small minions in game 2, and in game 1 they had massive minions, 6-drop minions in that first hand, and they were just relying on the draw to keep them afloat.
I mean, it worked. It got really close. I couldn't see the other hand just as well, but it seemed better, but it still ended up being just a one health difference. And then thinking about it again, considering that they knew Priest was going to be played third, maybe the Death Knight wasn't the counter pick. But then again, that could have just been a headspace thing. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell after 2 consecutive losses with the Death Knight and then going back in for the third round. Because I'm imagining that the person who played the Death Knight has to be the person to continue playing it. And maybe you just need to tag that person out after those.
Yeah, we do know that Rain on the side of Maclay or Marauders High School was piloting. Rain was piloting that Death Knight. Got so close, but I think you're right. Yeah, it's just maybe it's time to tap them out where maybe they're not in the right headspace, and it works better if you have someone else swap in.
Okay. No, it's honestly hard to tell because you can't hear what they're saying to each other. You don't know. Maybe the Paladin was confident and was like, "No, I got this." Shadow Priest, no, not a big deal. I'm Paladin. I'm gonna bless up my dudes and we're gonna get in there. But it's hard to tell. But
Hard to tell. I like what they did, and I like the attempt. I like the switch up here, and I think it really came down to the game 1 in my opinion. But for the most part, both of these teams did a phenomenal job. This does mean that Westside High School is walking away with the PlayVS Cup 2023 championship title. They are national champions, and for good reason. They did such a great job. That will be it for me and Shredder. Shredder, any final words before we head out?
I already waved. What are you doing?
Sorry, my bad.
What?
Thank you all so much for joining us. Hopefully, we'll catch you next time when the next championships come around. But for now, have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you later.